Welcome everybody to the Hypetrain Podcast. My name is Hannes and I'm joined, as always, by my trusty co-host, the James Clear to my habits, Mr. Martin Molin. How are you doing, my dear friend?
As always, now talking to you, Hannes, I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
I'm really great. It's a big jumping off point this week. I guess we're gonna go in depth this week on some of our new habits.
For the context that I always like to provide for any new listeners, and then we say big welcome to you, is that me and Hannes always used to talk to each other in the phone, try to help each other out on how to overcome ourselves and become better persons.
Yeah, sounds of Mission Impossible, but we're trying.
Feeling better, and we have taken those phone conversations into a podcast format. Right now, we're talking only about habit changing because we're so inspired by the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. You've been listening to the book since the last episode, right?
Yeah, about 2 hours in. I can't listen to it as a podcast. I need to sit down and really focus. He's trying to teach me profound lessons about life, so I really need to focus.
Yeah, I am listening to it again. So I'm listening to it for the third time now. But I am now doing the kind of more casual, having it in the background listening. And I agree with you. Atomic Habits by James Clear is not a casual listen. It's like a listen where you should sit down and also be prepared to actually pause and take notes.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in the classroom.
Yeah. As we mentioned before, my therapist said that according to him, 100% scientifically correct. So he says in the beginning of the book that he hoped that his big achievement with the book will be to summarize all the science. And I think that's why we feel that way. I think it's so dense. Every sentence is like supported by scientific studies. So that's just what comes through, I think, in the listening experience. Just like the Hypetrain Podcast.
Yeah, 100% scientific truth. Right here, everybody. And you sent me a picture yesterday that I got really impressed by. You have taken one of his lessons, I would say, and you wrote down kind of like a habit list.
Yeah, one of the techniques that James Clear is suggesting for you to use when you want to start new habits is that you can try to write a habit contract. And you can write a contract with yourself, but he also gives examples from people who have written a contract for some new habits and actually had witnesses signed it as well, which is kind of hardcore, which of course ties into the accountability perspective. So another technique is to use accountability partners. If you listen to the last episode, me and Hannes have been using each other as accountability partners in building our meditation habit. And that's been working so great because it's been just so much easier. And my habit contract is just with myself so far. It's a really ridiculous, small little thing that started this morning, so I can't really brag too much about how efficient it is. But so far, it works 100%. A slight little background then, Hannes, to this is that when I met Hannes, a slight background, I go back 5 years. So when I met Hannes, he had this wonderful gang of film nerds around him and was just working on a huge documentary project about him and his friends trying to adopt new, more healthier lifestyles.
Yeah.
So we got together to film the Marble Machine video, which was our first video together. You were just working on this project. And what was that project about, actually?
Yeah, for typical nerds, movie nerds, video game nerds, overweight, and getting fed up with that lifestyle. So we thought that if we film ourselves, we will have the accountability of the viewers. Like if a camera is rolling on us, we can't fail. So we set out like, okay, let's do this naked portrayal of ourselves and like do weigh-ins and stuff like that. So the first documentary we did, the main goal was for 8 months. Let's see how much weight we can lose if we have it in us to become interested in working out at all. So we got help from a personal trainer, and like he helped us also with our diets. And 8 months later, we finished and we made a documentary, and it was semi-successful, or very successful, I would say. Like I lost 40 kilos for those 8 months. And that was the first time I got introduced to the gym. And after that, in the end of that documentary, I give a promise to the viewers. Speaking about accountability. Okay, we're not gonna stop these new habits now, because in a year, we're gonna run a marathon. Like, okay, we need a cool ending to the documentary. And then all of a sudden, like, oh shit, we're gonna do this for real. So then the next documentary were just the 4 of us training and running a goddamn marathon.
Yeah. In the Wheel of Time fantasy book series I'm reading now, there's a concept called Taveren, which is this special people that changes the pattern in the weave of the world around them. So wherever they go, things are changing around them. And you have had kind of a Taveren effect on your surrounding, because just your dedication to try to change your lifestyle, that was so inspiring for like everyone coming in contact with it. Until I met you, I didn't have a relationship to exercise. Since I became a musician, I did a lot of sports when I grew up. I always liked biking and long distance running and stuff. I was always a little bit into it as a kid, basically. But as an adult, I never adopted it. So fast forward to last week.
5 years later.
Yeah. Where me and Hannes have been trying to inspire each other to get a grip on ourselves, basically, always starting in the psychological and always ending up realizing the truth that if you work out 3 times per week, it's like eating Prozac. This is actually scientifically correct. It's also information from my therapist. He tells me all these things. He says 3 times per week, 20 minutes where your pulse is increased equals eating some kinds of the antidepressants tablets. You got me going really good over the summer, and I almost made it into a habit. I almost made it into a routine. And then 2 weeks ago, when I started to think about my channel update video that meant so much to me personally, I allowed myself to get consumed by the making of that video, the response to that video, how the viewers received it. So I just dropped the ball like 2 weeks ago. And also Jaap, that I always bike with, he was out of the country. And again, it's so much easier when you have someone to follow. So he was gone. The water in the pool started to get colder at the end of the summer. So I just dropped the ball and I didn't exercise for 1.5 weeks or 2 weeks. And I've been really feeling much worse in so many areas of my life. I felt less productive, more negative. You kind of know that you should do it. I'm not just relaxing and using my time and being relaxed about it. I'm kind of bashing myself around it as well. The health trend, I think it's even called healthism. It can so easily become too much as well. So this is what we're talking about in this podcast. But I mean, you should not be addicted to anything, right? But for the last 2 weeks, it was obvious that I was not doing as well as I could. So yesterday night, I decided to use James Clear's technique and write a habit contract. And basically, I can just actually read the contract for the listeners. So,
yes, please. It's brilliant.
It sounds extremely rigid and extremely dry. And we don't know yet if this is going to work. It has worked for 1 day so far, so I don't think that's enough like empirical evidence. Habit contract. Martin Molin. Start date, August 31st, 2020. Me, Martin Molin, hereby signs my new habit contract.
I love it.
But and my new identity.
Yes! Keyword.
Yeah, the thing with identity is what Hannes actually pointed out to me from James Clear, that all habit change starts with a change in how you identify yourself. If you identify yourself as someone who's trying to quit smoking, it's harder to say no to the cigarette. If you identify yourself as a non-smoker, it's easier to say no to the cigarette. So that's why identity comes in here.
Yeah.
I am a person who works out and puts exercise before work. I will do some form of exercise every single morning. The way I live my life, I don't see a big difference between weekend and Monday to Friday, weekdays. So whenever I try to make a new habit, I have to kind of figure out what day it is, and that's a little annoying. So one of the 4 laws of habit change, according to James Clear, is make it easy. So every day sounds harsh, but it's a way for me to making it more easy, right?
Yeah.
I signed to do this following routine every day. Wake up, dress in exercise clothes, fill water bottle, exercise, and choose between walking. So actually going out for a walk counts. This is something else that I've been learning from you, Hannes. Everything counts.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be excruciating sweating and muscle pain for 2 hours to be exercise.
No. Everything you do is better than nothing.
Yeah.
So like that, it's the same as James Clear talks about, the 1% betterment. So if you exercise, if you just take a walk, is better than just heading upstairs and working. So you've done something at least. And especially for people like you, because you work at home. So you don't have, for like commuters and people who go to work like I do, I have walks for like 45 minutes per day because I'm going to my work and home. And it's especially important if you work at home or close to home.
I live like a larvae in a cocoon. I could live the Wall-E futuristic life. I have no structure. I have no external structure in my life. Oh, maybe that's why I need this contract, actually.
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant idea for you.
I have to inflict some kind of structure on myself.
Yeah.
Otherwise, things just fall apart like they did the last 2 weeks.
You have to report to me and listen to how disappointed I am in my voice.
We actually decided to record this podcast at the same time every week, so we're kind of trying to introduce structure.
And that's a big part of my change this week. We come to that later.
Ah, cool. That will also maybe be nice if you enjoy the podcast. We will really strive for consistency to put out an episode per week. That's going to be our goal. That's our long-term goal, definitely. Okay, so exercise. Choose between walking, biking, running, swimming. Routine 1, which is weightlifting routine with my dumbbells, and routine 2, which is the other weightlifting routine with my dumbbells that Hannes has written for me. And then I have fill water bottle again, because you have to stay hydrated. I forget to drink a lot. You have to make sure that you drink a lot of water every day.
And you don't know why, and it's probably because you didn't fill up the water bottles, and it's such an easy thing, but you always forget it.
Yep. And when it says fill water bottle in the contract, that also means that I have to empty it before.
Yes, great.
And then I have eat breakfast at kitchen table. And this sounds stupid, but I was always standing up eating at my work desk, running around eating. So I have to sit down on the kitchen table, eat breakfast. And then I have coffee, and then brush teeth and floss. And that's always like something from James Clear as well. Sometimes it's so easy to skip the flossing, but you just feel how much better it is for the teeth when you do the flossing.
Yeah.
Then eat lunch at kitchen table.
It sounds ridiculous, but it's so important, I think. And especially for people like you and me. You go and sit in front of your computer screen at your work desk, and you don't take that 20-30 minute break, breathing and just slowing down. I think you need that. So it's so great that you actually, in the contract, specify at the dinner table. Such a small thing, but so good.
It is good because there I have no internet. And of course, if you would be working in an office landscape, your colleagues would pull you to the dinner room, to the lunch room, and you would talk about other stuff, Star Wars. And so, yeah, it is a break from the work. And then after lunch, I have the daily meditation, which is yours and mine habit together. Then I have drink third water bottle, eat dinner at the kitchen table or on the couch with a film, smiley face.
I can get behind that.
Then I have brush teeth and floss. And then the last paragraph, consequence. If one single point on the list is missed, I will punish myself with a full day of cleaning the very next day, regardless of what was booked into my schedule. Signed, Martin Molin, and then it's my signature.
And I saw this contract and I was blown away. And I was so happy and so inspired. You really need to specify everything. And also, you have done what James Clear talks about when it comes to like the habit stacking. Like you add a lot of habits into one. And that's the good thing about you work out, then you have breakfast. And then you brush your teeth. And you like stack everything on top of each other.
Today I've been actually carrying the contract around with me. And I'm using it as a kind of, what should I do now? Just read on the paper. And it sounds so extremely stupid. But one of the 4 laws of habit change is make it simple. If I need to get up every day, and I think this is something James Clear talks about also. If I need to get up every day and ask myself the question, what do I feel like doing right now? Often you will choose a short-term winning thing. Yeah, I want to make myself more comfortable in the now, right? But now I don't have to ask myself that question. I can just look at the paper and follow what I promised myself to do.
And you're doing it right in the morning. So the rest of the day is clear for anything. So you don't have to wait and like cram in some training in the middle of the day or at the night like I do. Or like I used to.
Aha, that's a segue if I ever heard something. Normally it's Hannes who is the conductor of the hype train and I get inspired by him, but I see the gleam in your eyes that you have come up with a reply to this.
Yeah. I've been thinking about it for so long, but I never got to it. And seeing your contract yesterday, I decided right there and then some of the stuff I wanted to change. And one of those things is, you know me, I am not a morning person.
No.
I am terrible in the morning. And it's the same way when I come to work. Like it takes me an hour or 2 to get going. And then when I come home, I feel like I have no time left. So I just head to the gym and then I come home and it's time to go to bed. I have no leisure time at all during the day. So one of the things I want to change is to do like you do, knock the workout out in the morning.
Ah, cool.
If I can get this habit going, I may come into the office more pumped and hyped also. I haven't signed a contract yet, but I've signed it mentally. I will doing cardio every morning.
Oh, you're never going to do weightlifting in the morning?
Every other day, but that's during the evening.
So what do you do those days? Are you then going to work out twice those days? Of course you had to better me somehow. Of course. Okay, what can I say? Mic drop moment, Hannes. I absolutely love this is amazing. I believe it.
My weightlifting routines take between 2 to 3 hours. So doing that in the morning, I would have to be at the gym about around 5 o'clock, and that's a little too early for me. So yeah, but knocking out like a 1.5 hour cardio session, I think I can do that. Why I'm so pumped about this is the notion of when I come home today, I'm going to pack my gym bag so it's ready for tomorrow morning.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, such a small thing. Like I'm never organized in that way. So I'm so pumped up to like, oh, I can pack my bag the day before and just head out in the morning.
Hannes looks like a dog who's just going to bite up until lunch, kind of. Instead, you can just keep that look in your eyes when you take your already packed gym bag and just go out and you have the morning air hitting your face. It's going to be such a nice way for you to wake up.
Yeah, cardio is one of those kind of exercises. I love lifting weights, so it's not that hard for me to go in the evening because I like it. Cardio can be more difficult when you like come home, eat something, sit down on the couch a little bit. Then it's kind of difficult to muster up the energy to go do cardio.
Yeah.
But to knock it out early in the morning, I think this is a winning concept.
Are you going to do all the cardio at the gym?
Yeah.
How many weightlifting sessions are you planning?
3.5 per week.
So you have 10 and a half training sessions per week.
No. Oh, yeah, that's true. Saturday and Sunday also. Yeah, that's right.
This is the kind of level that doesn't make the listeners inspired anymore. Now you're just flattening everybody in the room.
But I will have the same as you. Like some days, perhaps it will be some smaller exercising. Just get my ass to the gym. That's the main part. And some days my heart is not going to be really in it, but I got to do it because 1% is better than no percent.
But that was another super inspiring example in the book. He tells the story about a guy who wanted to start to exercise and drove to the gym, half an hour drive, and made one push-up. So he drove to the gym, he went into the gym, and he did that every day, and made one push-up. And then he came back the day after and was like, this is ridiculous. I can try to make 2,
Yeah.
James says you have to establish a habit before you can improve it. And this is what people are missing and what I've been missing because I'm a perfectionist. I want results right away. And I think a big idea for you and me to exercise before breakfast 7 days out of 7 is just to establish this habit. It's okay if it's super light one day or if it's a little messy or a little badly performed. The important thing is that we show up.
Yeah. And I get goosebumps thinking about after lunch when I've done my meditation, I can send to you okay, cardio and meditation done. We can have 2 check marks crossed out during every day.
So are you starting then already tomorrow?
Yeah. This is the day when I'm just sorting everything out and cleaning up things and making everything ready for tomorrow.
1st of September. I want to give us a challenge, Hannes, here and now.
Yes, bring it.
September, October, November, December. There are 4 months still on 2020.
Yep.
Are we here signing up to, apart from force majeure or sickness or illness, we're going to do every day for the rest of the year together?
Yeah, of course. But as you said, sickness can come in between because you have seen me in the morning. I don't actually know how it's going to work. Perhaps I will die as a human being. My spirit will be crushed. Right now, I feel like it will be a great change, but you never know.
I don't think your spirit can be crushed. If it would be crushed, it would come back as a force ghost in every trilogy ever. This is so cool, Hannes. This is what the hype train is all about.
Challenge each other, raise each other up, raise the stakes all the time.
I mean, the goal, because I'm struggling mentally with my art project, the Marble Machine X, and I realized more and more and more, I'm not fighting against the Marble Machine X. I'm fighting against myself.
Yeah.
Because I am so sick and tired of problem solving. I am so sick and tired of seeing another marble not behaving the way I want to do and trying, how can I fix that? Going to the computer, start to design something in CAD, trying to cut it out on the CNC machine, realizing that I have to order some metal parts from Germany. That whole process, I've been doing that for 3 years. I love it, but I want to do something different. But as Tim Keller said, this is like a racehorse that I have to ride until the finish line every day. And when you and me challenged each other for the mindfulness accountability thing, to just any listeners who didn't hear that, we're using the Waking Up app by Sam Harris, and you can actually get a free account if you ask for it from the support team of Waking Up. Then if you get an accountability partner, you can just team up with someone you know. And that's what we've been doing. And when I realized that it was so easy for us to do that, I was thinking, what else can be that easy?
And we're already at day 15.
Yeah, we're halfway.
You know what? We're crushing it.
That's a klubb för inbördes beundran again. That's such a great Swedish expression. I don't know in English, but it's like a club for people who like themselves and each other. So we are doing this kind of to feel better, and I just hope, and I have a question for you. Do you think this habit contract is procrastination, that I don't want to build a machine, or is it actually the way forward?
I think it's the way forward. Yeah, I've talked to you almost every day for like 2 years now or something. And I feel the last couple of weeks, a big change in your mind has occurred. And I really think like the climax of that was the channel update video. And I feel like, yeah, you're really trying to fix stuff in your life. I mean, how can it be bad? All the things you wrote down are just good things. Of course, you should put your health first. We're bad at it, but that's how it should be. And no, you can't call that procrastination. It's about you, man. It's about your health. It's about you feeling better, about you being able to finish the machine at all. So no procrastination, just being awesome.
I really needed to hear that.
If you don't follow the contract, though, that's another question. I'm holding you accountable now. All the listeners as well.
Yeah, we are really using the listeners as distant accountability partners. You know what the best of everything is by you also doing a habit contract like this?
What?
That we can now say that it's every day, bro, to each other.
It's every day, bro. And what I love about me trying to do, or what I love about me doing exercise in the morning, I feel like I'm going to have so much time on the evenings now.
Yeah.
Usually when I come home at around 7 or 8, I can just head to the gym. That's all the time I have. And when I come home, I'm kind of pumped up, and you want some time to just settle in and cozy up. So like then is my time for like play some video games and stuff like that. And then, yeah, the clock turns 12 or 1 or something like that. So I think this hopefully will give me more time to enjoy those stuff and also have better sleep.
So in your habit contract, it's going to be so, come home, pack the gym bag, grab the Xbox controller.
Yeah. Or the days that I'm not going to do some weightlifting, I need to make sure that I have food prepared for the whole week, because that's another thing that's going to be in my habit contract as well, to really focus in on really having good food prepared for the whole week. Because it's been a lot of times lately where, yeah, you can't do like lunch boxes at 12 o'clock in the night.
No.
So I need to fix that for the whole week. So I have everything prepared. I'm going to do a special weekdays, I think, of like, kind of like you did. Like you have special days for special things. So it's going to be one special day for planning and preparing food, like buying all the groceries and fixing that. And one day is going to be for my economy. So I'm going to spend a day just paying bills and sorting out everything with my company and everything like that, because I'm terrible at that. I like wait till the last day available and just stress through everything. I have I don't know anything. So I'm going to take one day a week where I have 1 or 2 hours really focusing on it and cleaning up and stuff like that we have talked about. I'm going to have special days for that stuff.
Awesome. We are growing up, Hannes.
We are growing up. It took a while, but we're getting there.
Woot, woot.
Yes.
It's funny. I think it's a funny discussion. Like I grew up with, I would say, almost no boundaries. As generous as that can be, there are some basic things that I have to teach myself now in life.
Yeah.
That is kind of surprising. Like I said in the last episode, I can't just leave the clothes wherever I take them off. Which has been my system until now.
Yeah.
You know what Bill Burr said? He said, at 35 years of age, you have to stop fooling around and start looking at yourself.
Yeah, I'm beating it by a couple of years.
Yeah. You're ahead of the curve, Hannes.
Oh, I love the sound of that. I just want to give a quick tip on a series for everybody who wants something to see. A really delightful series on Netflix. I think you would enjoy it as well if you're bored some night.
Mm-hmm.
High Score. It's a 5 or 6 part documentary series about video games.
Oh, cool.
Really well made, high production value, nice little details, especially like the narrator is the guy who makes the voice to Mario.
Mario 64 voice.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, you learn cool little details all the way back from Atari when they started making their games and to the Nintendo 8-bit system and all the craze with the violent games a la Doom and Mortal Kombat and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a beautiful blast from the past. And most of you perhaps have heard or know. If you're interested in video games, you have heard some of the stories before. But they take some cool new aspects of it. Like when they tell the story of Donkey Kong, instead of talking to the creator, they talk to the sound guy, the guy who invented all the sounds. So you get some new perspectives on things. So yeah, that's a recommendation from me. If you're bored and you want something cute to watch High Score.
Is it worth it reactivating my Netflix account? I have to flex on the fact that I quit it some months ago.
Is it in your contract? No. So then you can reactivate it.
Yeah. Sounds super nice. It's been fun to following the whole Donkey Kong drama with the King of Kong documentary and all that. Like how everyone tried to build him up and this organization that kept track of the high score, how they were like complacent in this cheating. Amazing stuff. And you can't get away with stuff like that nowadays.
No. But yeah, that's a recommendation as well. King of Kong, if you haven't seen it, that's a brilliant documentary.
And I think you can see King of Kong and then you can go into a rabbit hole on YouTube and follow up all the aftermath of King of Kong. And with all these characters, it's kind of amazing.
And I love the stuff in High Score, they also talk about it, how college students who wants to like make money, so they buy a lot of arcade cabinets and like put in their dorm rooms. And in the beginning, like, oh, they were making so much money because those games were hard. But all of a sudden, like, what is happening? We're only making like a couple of bucks. Like, people got so good at the games. Like, you want people like playing 5 minutes and then adding more coins, but they got so good at the games. So these guys, like, how do we solve this? Well, let's open up the cabinet and mod it. So they like take out the cards and everything and like, yeah, crack the game basically, making it harder. So they were the first hackers. And like then there's this nice like side story where you have the big giant gaming companies and these students hacking the game and they get sued and everything like that. And basically they wind up working for the big companies because they're so good at what they're doing. And I love those stories where people like take shit in their own hands. Just let's make it more difficult and then end up working for the company and making millions and millions and millions.
It's always a little nerd. We always look up to the little nerd hero. It's always like in Independence Day. It's always the guy with the big glasses and the folder with A4 papers who saves the world.
Of course.
Talking about hacking, we witnessed the Neuralink presentation together live last Friday.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Tell the listeners what happened if they didn't see it.
It's a little bit cloudy for me. I wasn't really 100% focused. I had some couple of drinks before and like being a little round under your feet and watching the Neuralink demonstration. It was kind of trippy. But hey, we were watching the future. It looked promising. And all the stuff they talked about, it's like from a science fiction movie.
Yeah.
We're soon there. Soon you're having an interface in your head. But I think the right thing they did was to really focus it on, no, we're not adding AI into your mind so you can have Facebook directly on your retina. This is mainly because we want to fix brain damages.
So for anyone who doesn't know, Neuralink is a company that tries to create a device, an implant, and with small electric threads, they have 1024 threads that they put 1 centimeter into your brain. It can connect over Bluetooth with your phone and it can read and write. So it can read and understand the electric signals in your brain, and it can also give the brain signals. And Elon Musk is at the head of this company, if I understand it correctly. I don't really know his role, but he's involved in this.
Yeah.
He's always said, we are interfacing with computers now with 2 meat sticks, our thumbs, and the bandwidth of our thumbs are too low to compete with AI in the future. So even though you're right that they are going to release this device as a medical device, that's how it's going to become publicly accepted as well. They even had discussions that they could, if you had severed your back or your spine, so you actually couldn't walk, they could actually make an implant on the other side where your back is broken and kind of fix the link again and basically make you walk again. So that Elon Musk is our modern Jesus is actually now confirmed. He makes people he makes people walk again, see again, hear again. They talked about this in the Bible, and it took until now for Jesus to return to earth. Yeah, but like there comes one person and fixes. So of course this is not happening yet, but in the demonstration they had implanted this device in a pig. It was funny because they made this like animal activistic comment that they're not going to do any experiment that the pig hasn't consented to, except that the whole thing of getting an implant into your brain, I think it was a little bit difficult for the pig to give his consent to that.
But look at him. He's happy.
Yeah, so I thought I thought that was such a bullshit argument. I know you wanted to communicate that you care about animals, and I'm happy that you do. But this is just a clear case of where we all agree that it's morally okay to do the tests on these pigs for humanity, especially since it's not even killing them. But that's a big discussion. I thought that was the worst part of the demonstration. But we were witnessing like live signals being broadcasted out from the brain of this pig. And every time he put like his nose on the ground, you heard like a beep, like a beep. Beep, 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 beep. Why didn't they just put like a pig sound, like a oink, oink? Anyway, check out Neuralink presentation on YouTube if you haven't seen it. I don't know anything about this technology, but I do think we are witnessing a revolution. And I think, Hannes, in our lifetimes, that we will be teaming up with AI through this brain interface.
It's bound to happen.
Yeah.
Imagine then, you won't need any habit contract. You just fire like signals to your brain. Don't do that anymore. It's gonna be really easy. You just download the James Clear book right into your brain and everything just working.
Or the sadder version, our AI overlords have written our habit programs already. So we don't have a lot to say about it.
That's true.
You can argue that free will does not exist. So we actually already don't have a lot to say. So maybe it's nicer to be taking care of AI.
Yeah, we don't need to think as much.
Are you scared about the AI existential threat?
Of course. I grow up with a lot of sci-fi movies, like Skynet. It's gonna happen.
I love that you always describe reality from movies. Always.
But you know, reality like mimics fiction, right?
Ah, that's a good saying, actually.
It's always like that.
Are you excited more than scared?
I don't know. I don't know the benefits, actually. What are the actual benefits of becoming one with AI?
I don't know either.
Can I have my Netflix account straight to my retina then? Can I watch High Score immediately?
But it's like, when internet came, what would we use that for, right? I think it's a famous example that internet was not predicted by any source ever before it happened.
Yeah, there's gonna be some movies where they predicted the internet, trust me.
You think?
Of course.
Okay, I was wrong about that.
There's always a movie.
But like I remember when internet came and I went to check the whole website of Rage Against the Machine, and then when I checked the whole website, I thought like, oh, I'm done with internet.
Now you're working on it.
I went to my father's work because I wanted to try internet, and I checked Rage Machine's website, and that was it.
I've done it now. Wasn't that great? Wouldn't do it again. 2 out of 5. Speaking about 2 out of 5, I think the whole audience is waiting to hear your thoughts about Star Wars Rise of Skywalker.
I'm such a bad reviewer because I'm not a fan enough, so I keep track of all the storylines and all the relationships and stuff. So I texted Hannes before seeing The Last Skywalker.
Spoilers ahead.
Okay, spoilers. So I texted Hannes and said, oh, so probably Rey is a Skywalker after all. Completely forgetting Kylo Ren and Ben Solo. By the way, Ben Solo, Kylo Ren, what a beautiful man. I mean, he's so beautiful, and he reminds me so much about Christian Antila, the wonderful artist from Gothenburg. They are so alike. I Googled it, and of course, a lot of people had put pictures with Adam Driver and Christian Antila next to each other. Kind of funny. Anyway, I now been watching The Last Jedi like last week, and now I didn't see these films before, and we discussed the other film in last episode, I think.
Yeah.
It feels like there is no...
Uncoherent.
Yeah, there's no real commitment to almost anything.
No.
And what I actually despise the most of all these films is that they go too many times to uncalled for tears and emotional moments. It's so many emotional moments before we have had any time to build up any feelings ourselves. So uncomfortable it is when someone just starts to cry and you're in the same room and you don't know what to do. That's how I felt in this trilogy so many times. Like, why are you crying now? It's like 15 minutes into the film. You're not going away to the end battle now. I know that because there's 2 hours left of the film. I'm very inspired by you here, but so many characters are useless. They have nothing to do. They have actually no problems to work with. And when they do have problems to work with, they always fails, and it doesn't matter in the end anyway.
Yeah.
It's strange because it's one of the most expensive productions ever.
That's why it's so interesting.
Yeah,
how can they screw this up so royally?
Yeah, my go-to explanation is the design by committee line, like that too many people had too much to say, except for episode 8, where only one guy decided everything, and it was just happened to be the wrong guy.
And it's so sad to watch Rise of Skywalker. J.J. Abrams is trying so hard to make something interesting with nothing, because he made episode 7 and threw out a lot of story points. And then Rian Johnson janked them right out. Nothing is left. No threat is left. And I mean, come on. The big bad guy in episode 9 is Palpatine again. And they haven't set him up at all in the new trilogy. They solve it basically having him in the crawl of the movie. Suddenly an ancient voice is heard. Right into it. Oh, he's alive. I mean, that's something you should have planned for in episode 7 already. When I think JJ wanted Snoke to be the big bad guy. I mean, it's so bad. It's so rushed. And it's so funny to see the small jabs from JJ to Rian Johnson. The big moment of episode 8, the start of it, when Rey is giving Luke Skywalker the lightsaber and he just throws it away for comedical effect.
Yeah.
In episode 9, Rey is throwing her lightsaber into the fire oh no, I hate the Jedi. And then Luke comes back, oh, you need to take care of this. A lightsaber is a Jedi's best friend.
Yeah.
Forget about the last movie, okay? And nobody has any story arcs, as you said. The only character that has a good arc is Kylo Ren. He is the new trilogy.
Yeah, and that...
Which is sad, because I really liked Rey in episode 7. I think she could have been a great character, but nothing interesting happens. She's no development at all. Sad.
But that with Kylo Ren, still, there were some scenes towards the end of the film I mean, his battle between the light and the dark side, it's so epic. This is something that we all have within us as human beings. Part of why, in the end, I still want to watch these films, because in the end, seeing him struggle and come back, I was really touched in the whole ending scenes with him and Rey. I was actually like punching my fist in the sky when they were kissing, like, you know. I was like so into it. I was so into it, and I was so happy. And I thought, I don't think it was like a sensual kiss. It was more like a brother-sister kiss almost.
Yeah, that's in the vein of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Luke and Leia.
Did they kiss?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Why? When? How?
In the old trilogy. They wind up kissing, and then like later on, like, oh, we're brothers and sisters. And then she's hooking up with Han Solo instead.
Oh, but they didn't know they were brothers and sisters.
No.
Okay. And
Just
of course,
something
Rey
fun
and
about that.
Okay, then I understand. I don't know, Hannes, but what we talked about, this habit contract, it's like an effort to walk towards the light side.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do here on the Hypetrain podcast. We're taking the hype train towards the light side as much as we can, even though the dark side is pulling us back at all times.
Yes. And every time we're calling each other, it feels like one of those moments from the later movies when they're like talking through the Force to each other, Kylo and Rey.
Ah, yeah.
Like they can feel each other in the room.
Force Skyping, as someone called it.
Yes, that's what we're doing. Force Skyping. Asking how's it going with the meditation today? Have you worked out today? Like you can sense the other people's or the other guys' feelings and locations.
I'm waiting for the next big cool thing, basically. Like when you told me about the Michael Jordan documentary series on Netflix, that felt kind of super mega epic, but I would like to have some kind of like made up fantasy story to look forward to, some kind of epic films. Avatar 2 maybe, I don't know.
Oh, stop it. I know exactly what you mean. It was like when the Lord of the Rings movies came out in the perfect age for me.
Yeah.
Like I was just starting 7th grade when Lord of the Rings came out.
Yeah.
And like we went to the midnight screening and I was dressed up as Samwise. And like we were walking to the cinema like 5 kilometers and we were chased. We were the whole fellowship and we were chased by 4 Nazguls. It was so great. And I mean, after that, we also had the Harry Potter franchise. Like you want something big like that. And the closest that we have come lately, I must say the Marvel movies and the feeling when Avengers Endgame had the premiere. It was the same feeling when people are so invested in the characters and like cheering and crying. And when it becomes a big event, and you wanted that for Star Wars as well, but they failed so miserably. It was the same with Game of Thrones. You were on board for it the whole way, and then like, yeah, just a slow fart. The whole last season.
Matrix 2 and 3, same story.
Yeah, I remember going to the midnight screening for Matrix Reloaded being so hyped, and like afterwards I felt like somebody punched me in the face.
I probably told you that I made wands for all my friends when we were seeing the premiere of Harry Potter 6.
So beautiful.
When Dumbledore gets killed and falls down, all the wizards raises their wands, and we had the middle seats in Bergakungen, like this super huge in Gothenburg. So they raised their wands, and then we could raise me and my 3 friends. We were raising our wands in the cinema.
Oh yes, I got goosebumps.
I colored them with different watercolor, and I told stories like what kind of wood they were made of, and they were all branches that I found outside my apartment window.
Oh, that's so cute. I know exactly what you mean. You want something like big pop culture event.
Yeah.
And sadly, it's going to be a long time until Star Wars becomes one of those again. Like now they're really killing it on the TV series front. But the movies, Yeah, well, they're bringing on the Marvel guys. Perhaps they can like steer it in the right direction.
We have to create it ourselves, Hannes.
Oh,
It's a Black Dragon versus Green Goblin. That's
the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, that's brilliant.
Oh, no, but that's gonna be fun. You told me that they were gonna film the Wheel of Time. That's gonna be very, very. I was so pissed off, as you know, with the BBC adaptation of Philip Pullman's books, His Dark Materials. It's a very difficult book to adapt. They tried before and it failed.
Yeah.
I really did not like it. So we're gonna see what they can do with Wheel of Time.
Yeah, 2 big fantasy series coming up, Wheel of Time and Amazon's Lord of the Rings series. The most expensive series ever made.
And
they're already greenlit 4 or 5 seasons, I think. They haven't even started filming.
wow. But what is greenlit, like giving the money?
Yeah. They have like secured, we're gonna film at least 4 seasons of it.
And what stories are they gonna tell? Is it like Silmarillion or?
No, I don't think so. I mean, what I've heard, it's gonna be basically Lord of the Rings again, but they're gonna fill in the gaps from, stories before Lord of the Rings about the first men, like the ones that Aragorn comes from. So it's gonna be some bridging, but I think they're gonna do basically Lord of the Rings again.
Do you know I feel like Aragorn when I execute my habit contract? Like his determination. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Floss those teeth. Floss those teeth.
Oh, I have a great idea, Hannes. Listen to this.
Yes.
The next big cinematic action movie, fantasy action movie, Atomic Habits. They used this the filmatization of Atomic Habits by James Clear, with like the everyday superhero who like habit stacks one after another habit and just reaches all his goals.
Hey, you criminal! You just need some habits in your life.
And Snoke is replaced by dopamine. Like everything will be so great.
Oh, and on that note, it's time for us to say goodbye for this week. It's been beautiful as always, and I'm super thankful for you that you started this new contract. Got me started immediately. No more waiting for me, just doing it. And you listeners, we will keep you updated. Be sure of it. It's the only thing we're doing, and we're so proud of it. So we have a whole podcast just talking about how good we feel about doing something good with our lives.
That's it. That's the Hypetrain Podcast.
Yeah. Thank you for listening, and we talk to you next week again.
Woot woot.
Woot woot.
Chugga 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 chugga.